Peace and love. Welcome to our Mother's Way channel. It's a powerful day today. It's the 17th of March 2020. And as you know, much of the world right now is undergoing forced quarantines. They're facing, a lot of unknowns right now based upon this virus that's going around. There's so many questions about everything that's happening. For me, anything I hear in the media, from mainstream to Facebook to any media at all, I take with a grain of salt. So I try not to let anything affect me to the point where it's just throwing me completely off balance and I'm just in a zone of fear. No matter what it is, I'm not saying it's easy. It's just that I kind of have trained myself to take all of these things with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, and I know many of you who are watching and keeping up with certain alternative news sources and stuff like that, a lot of you know about the problem reaction solution. So, there's a whole lot of manipulating that takes place by way of governments, world governments, and we have to be really careful about how much we feed this stuff. I have been hearing some more firsthand accounts about this illness, because to me at first I was like, it's probably just them misdiagnosing the flu or trying to put more on it than needs to be put on it for whatever reason. Because as you know, the governments, they deal with a lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of game playing, a lot of attempts to manipulate the minds and to instill fear in the mass populations, right? So you have to be very careful how much of what they say you believe and take stock in. But I have been hearing more first-hand accounts. I don't even know if I trust that stuff, just by Facebook posts and different things like that, of people who are encountering this sickness and are saying it is quite strong. People are dying from it, that it's a real thing. I still don't know, and I'm not saying I'm not one of those that just everything that's in the mainstream, I go the opposite. Like, I try to find a balance point with everything and do my own research. But I will say the best thing we can do is not go out and buy everything we can get our hands on and hoard stuff. But the best thing that we could do is stay prayed up and stay focused and visualizing ourselves healthy, thriving into the future, not falling to any kind of sickness, any kind of fear tactics, any manipulation by our government, but really staying centered in our vision for our lives and for our loved ones. And so, yes, we should be boosting. Yes, we should be taking care of ourselves. Maybe this is a call for us to all be focused more on our self-care, our health, our wellness. And this is how we're going to do it, by way of us being instilled with fear about, a virus that may or may not be what we think it is. So either way it goes, it's a good, positive thing for us, because we need to be boosting. We need to be taking care of ourselves. We need to be, focused on cleansing and purging and releasing things that we don't need anymore. So anything that happens from this situation could be a positive. If we're quarantined, nobody likes their freedom of movement to be restricted. But take it as a time to go inside, internally, and really, really work, on the self, and really focus on manifesting the things that you really want to see in your life. A lot of us are trapped in jobs that we don't want, situations that we don't want to be in, because we feel like we got to do this to make money. We got to do this to keep things, going, and what have you. A forced quarantine is going to take everybody out of any kind of situations that they're in that are not natural for them, and make them go internal and think about what they're engaging in, and think about why we're doing things based in fear. Because a lot of us work jobs, we do all, we become slaves, we do all these different things just based in fear of survival, fear of not being able to survive, fear of not having what we need. So whenever you're doing anything in fear and based in fear, it's an issue. And I was telling my friend recently, because I kind of have some part-time jobs and stuff, but one thing about me, I'm really into making sure that whatever I'm doing, I do it on my own terms. And it makes it hard sometimes, because when you work for other people and stuff, you are supposed to be supposedly sacrificing your time for wage, right? And I have a real issue with that concept, and this is the reason why a lot of times I don't work for people. I will be finding ways to work for myself. Because at the end of the day, when you are sacrificing your time, usually for a low wage, you know, you're taking away from your own dreams and your own things and your own manifestation so that you can make someone else's dream come to fruition. And in capitalism, as my sister was saying this morning, the exploitation has to be there. For one person to capitalize, they have to be exploiting somewhere. So either they're exploiting their customers, exploiting the people that work for them, taking advantage, but there has to be exploitation going on. So saying all this to say that right now is a time for everybody to go inside, indoors, you know, go within. All of it is a metaphor. Go within. Figure out what it is you really are supposed to be doing here that's going to contribute to society outside of being a worker, outside of building up some other person's dream when you have your own destiny and your own works to do, you know what I mean, that you should be focused on. And really, really find balance. And so we don't have to look at everything as a negative all the time, you know what I mean? Also, you know, sometimes you need to have that time of stillness and internal focus so that you can, you know, start to work on projects you may have put aside, different things like that. So it's a lot of good I can see in what's happening right now. And the main thing is, you know, staying boosted, keeping your interactions, I don't want to say to a minimum, because we are social people. We can't be scared of each other. You know, don't believe the movie hype. Don't get caught up in that. At the end of the day, we're still social people. You know what I mean? And so it's not that you can't socialize no more, or that you need to be looking at people who were once close to you as something to stay away from because they might carry the germ. But, you know, to just really, really do things in a conscious way. That is the key. And so I just wanted to deliver that message today from Spirit. You know, be natural. Don't be afraid of having to come out them streets and all the rush and the rigmarole and the day-to-day and the grind and I got to get this done, I got to get this money. That's not real life. And that's something that I think a lot of us are losing track of. We think that's real life. We think hustling and making money is real life. That's not real life. You know, what's real is am I living out the purpose that I came here to live out? Am I really, really acting out the destiny that my ancestors began, that, you know, I'm carrying out their works, continuing to carry out their works? Am I really, really understanding the greater spiritual reality of why I am here? And then sometimes Spirit is going to shut you down and shut everything down. And we are so at odds with Spirit sometimes. We're so at odds with what we're really supposed to be doing that it will take harsh measures. It will take drastic measures. You know, so it's like, how drastic is stuff going to get before people start doing what they're supposed to do? And there's just too many of us that, you know, are here for much bigger purposes than just being workers and just being slaves and just being, what do they call them, helpless eaters and all of these kind of things, you know. That's why we're expendable, because so many of us are acting like we're less than we are. This is why we are considered expendable by those so-called in power, because we don't even know how much value we have. And so, yeah, I'm very inspired. You know, check out Fleur Brun. She has a Fleur Brun. She has a lot of really great intel that's been coming on lately about what we're really dealing with. And there's a lot of, you know, powerful information we can gather. But one thing for sure, the changing of the guard is here. And we can't be scared of it. It might be uncomfortable. Change oftentimes is. But we still have to face the inevitable, that it's time for a new energy to come online. It's time for a new reality to come online, and we have to embrace it. And it's one that's going to be more based in fairness and you know, balance and equality. And, you know, getting it where it needs to be may take some effort and may take some struggle and some strife. But we getting there, y'all. So, yes, I stay posted. Stay tuned in. I appreciate you all for watching. Peace and love.